Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping straight into the 2025 Aprilia RS 125. We've been looking at an article over on bikermotorwriter.com. 2025 Aprilia RS 125, the ultimate entry-level super sport motorcycle.
Right.
And our mission today really is to unpack what makes this little super sport stand out.
Yeah, exactly. It's a crowded field, the 125s. So what's Aprilia bringing here? We need to look at the features, sure, but also how it, stacks up against the others.
And the pros and cons for someone actually thinking of buying one.
Absolutely. The real world stuff.
Okay, so the article kicks things off calling it a masterpiece of engineering. Bit strong, maybe? But it mentions Italian flair, cutting-edge tech.
Well, Italian flair usually means it looks good, right?
Yeah.
But it also hints at a certain feel, too.
True. And they say it's for beginners and experienced riders looking for something exhilarating. That's an interesting mix.
It is. Usually entry level means strictly beginners. So suggesting seasoned riders might enjoy it, too.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you wonder what's under the skin. Is it just marketing speak, or is there real engagement there?
Good question. Let's look at the engine then. It's a 125cc liquid-cooled single. Standard stuff there.
Yeah, about 15 horsepower at 10,000 RPM, 9.2 pound-feet of torque, peaking a bit lower, around 8,000.
Top speed around 68 miles per hour or 110 kph. And crucially, it fits A1 license rules in Europe.
Right. That's the target market power-wise.
But here's what jumped out at me. Advanced electronics. They mentioned traction control and ride-by-wire. That's not typical for a 125, is it?
No, it's really not. That's quite significant. It suggests Aprilia is pushing the tech envelope down into the smaller classes.
Why, though? Is it just a gimmick or is there real benefit?
Oh, definite benefit, especially for the target audience. Ride-by-wire means potentially smoother, more precise throttle response. In traction control, well, that's a huge safety net, particularly for newer riders or, when conditions aren't perfect. Helps prevent the rear wheel from spinning out.
Right. Gives you a bit more confidence.
Exactly. It's like having a bit of electronic backup. Makes advanced safety features more accessible.
Okay, moving on to the design. Sleek racing-inspired, lightweight chassis, razor-sharp handling. They're really playing up the sporty angle.
They are. They even say it's a ticket to the thrilling world of performance riding. Big words for a 125.
Yeah. It's got this aggressive look, minimalist bodywork to cut drag, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Full LED lighting too, headlights, taillights, indicators. That's becoming more standard, but it does give it a modern look and better visibility, which is always good.
Definitely. And a sculpted dual seat. Does that mean it's actually okay for two people, or is it mostly for looks?
Hard to say without sitting on it, but often on these sporty bikes, the pillion seat is, let's say, optimistic. But the sculpting might help the rider's comfort and positioning.
Okay, let's circle back to that advanced electronics suite. We mentioned ride-by-wire and traction control. It also has standard ABS. Can you break down why these three together are a big deal on this bike?
Sure. So ride-by-wire, we touched on precision throttle. Traction control grip safety net. ABS, the anti-lock braking system, is probably the most familiar one.
Right, stops the wheels locking up if you grab the brakes hard.
Exactly. Lets you keep steering control in a panic stop. Having all three ride-by-wire enabling the TC, plus ABS as standard on an entry-level bike like this, that's genuinely impressive. It shows a real commitment to safety and rider aids.
Then there's the chassis. Lightweight chassis and handling. It uses an aluminum frame, helps keep the weight down to roughly 317 pounds or 144 kilos.
Yeah, and that's pretty light for a fully fared 125 with all this tech. Aluminum frames aren't the cheapest option, so again, it points towards a focus on performance.
And lightness generally means
What?
more agile?
Absolutely. Easier to flick into corners, better acceleration, better braking, less mass to control. The article mentions balanced weight distribution and advanced suspension, too. It all points towards nimble, confidence-inspiring handling. Should be great for twisty roads and even nipping through city traffic.
Which is interesting because then they talk about comfort and ergonomics. Mid-mounted pegs, wider bars, a plush saddle. Doesn't sound like a torture rack.
No, it seems they're trying to balance the sportiness with some everyday usability. A more natural riding position, not too extreme.
Reduces strain, maybe. Easier for longer rides.
Potentially, yeah. And the seat height, 31.5 inches or 800 millimeter, that's pretty accessible for a lot of riders. Helps with confidence, especially for beginners, being able to get your feet down easily.
Right. That plush saddle claim, though, we'll see. Sport bike seats aren't always known for plushness.
True. Comfort is subjective, but it suggests they've at least considered it.
Okay, the spec sheet. We've hit most of these, but just to recap, 124.2 cc, 15 HP, 9.2 pound F, 6-speed EFI.
Standard fare there. Electronic fuel injection is pretty much universal now, helps with smooth running and emissions.
Suspension is an upside-down fork at the front, monoshock at the rear.
The USD forks are a nice touch, usually offer a bit more rigidity and better feel than conventional forks, often seen as a more premium feature.
Disc brakes front and rear with ABS. We covered the weight, around 317 pounds fuel tank, 3.6 gallons or 13.6 liters.
Okay, 3.6 gallons. That's maybe a little on the smaller side. Worth remembering when we talk rivals.
Yeah. And the price, estimated at $5,999.
So just under $6,000 puts it in a certain bracket.
The article then does a quick summary of the key features: agile engine, racing looks electronics, lightweight chassis, comfy ergos, ties it all together.
Yeah, reinforcing the main selling points. Smart move.
All right, the bit everyone wants, the competition. Yamaha YZF R125, KTM RC 125, Honda CBR 125. How does the Aprilia stack up?
Well, power-wise, they're all going to be very similar because of those A1 license limits, maybe minor differences in delivery. The article suggests the Aprilia matches or slightly beats them, but the real differentiator seems to be those electronics.
The traction control and ride-by-wire?
Exactly. That's something the others, at least historically, haven't offered as standard in this class. That's Aprilia's ace card, potentially.
What about things like weight and handling?
Aprilia claims to be one of the lightest, which should translate to that agility we talked about. KTMs often feel very sharp and track-focused, too.
Yeah.
Yamaha's R125 is also highly regarded for its handling. It's likely they all handle well, but maybe with slightly different characters.
And design. Aprilia aims for a balance between sporty and street-friendly, apparently.
Yeah, maybe not quite as extreme as the KTM sometimes feels. Perhaps a bit more sophisticated than the Honda. Styling is subjective, though.
We noted the fuel tank. The Yamaha YZF R125 has a bigger one, right? 4.2 gallons versus the Aprilia's 3.6.
Correct. That's a noticeable difference. Over half a gallon more. That translates directly into better range for the Yamaha. So if you're doing longer commutes or rides, that's a definite practical advantage for the R125.
So a trade-off there. Potentially more advanced tech on the Aprilia versus more range on the Yamaha.
Precisely. Depends what you prioritize.
And the price? That estimated $5,999, more than the Honda, less than the KTM usually is.
Generally, yes. KTM tends to price itself at the premium end of the category. Honda is often the value leader. The Aprilia slots in between, seemingly justifying its price with the tech and the Italian design.
How big a factor is price at this level, really?
Oh, it's huge. It's an entry-level market, often younger riders or those on a tighter budget. A few $100s either way can absolutely sway a decision. Aprilia's banking on buyers seeing the value in those extra features.
Okay, so the article wraps up the advantages. Lightweight, agile, advanced electronics, cool looks, accessible power, decent comfort. Seems like a strong package on paper.
It does summarize the appeal well. It's that blend of features they're pushing.
But then, the drawbacks. Gotta be realistic. Limited power for experienced riders. Well, yeah, it's a 125.
That's just the nature of the beast. If you want more power, you need a bigger bike.
Smaller fuel tank, limiting range, we just covered that compared to the Yamaha.
A tangible downside for some riders.
Higher price than some competitors, like the Honda.
Yep, the value calculation we discussed.
Limited off-road capability, well, duh, it's a super sport.
Not really a drawback, just stating the obvious. It's built for tarmac.
And potential for higher maintenance costs with the advanced components, is that a fair concern?
It's possible. More complex electronics could potentially mean more expensive repairs if something goes wrong down the line compared to a simpler bike. But reliability on modern systems is generally very good. It's just something to bear in mind.
Fair enough. And the FAQs just hit the main points again. Price, power, Yamaha comparisons, suspension, yes to TC, seat height, good for beginners, okay for distance, but lots of fuel stops.
Yeah, just quick, clear answers to the most common questions, useful summary.
So wrapping this up, the 2025 Aprilia RS 125, it definitely looks the part, brings some serious tech, especially those rider aids, to the entry-level game.
It's throwing down a gauntlet in terms of features. Italian style, lightweight chassis, those electronics. It's a compelling mix.
But you are trading off maybe a bit of fuel range compared to, say, the Yamaha, and it might cost a little more than some simpler options.
Exactly. It's positioned as a premium, tech-forward choice in the 125 class. Aprilia clearly believes there are buyers who want that combination and are willing to pay for it.
The big question is whether it delivers that exhilarating feel they promise, even with just 15 horsepower.
That's what the first ride reviews will tell us. Can it be engaging and fun for both new and experienced riders?
So the final thought for you listening, When you picture your ideal ride, especially if you're looking at this category, what really matters most? Is it the cutting-edge tech and sharp looks of something like this Aprilia? Is it maximum range? Or the lowest possible price?
Yeah, thinking about how a bike like the RS-125 fits or doesn't fit into what you actually want to do with a motorcycle, what other questions pop into your head when you consider stepping into performance riding?
Lots to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.